If you are using one of my accounts, then you are going to have conversion API workflows already set up in your account, almost guaranteed. So first you want to look for those and see if you've already got them. So on this, we're actually going to hit next because there are additional workflow folders that aren't on page one. And once we do that, we're going to see the conversions API folder. Once we click on that, we are then going to see the workflows that are already created, but these are very simple workflows if you are creating them from scratch. So we're in the conversions API folder. And again, if you are using one of my templated accounts, you are going to already see conversion API workflows inside. That does not mean you're done. But if you do not see any in your account, then you're simply going to go to create workflow. You're going to start from scratch, and then you are going to just select these 2 steps that we're going to go over in these workflows. So these are the conversion APIs that are in this account already, but we need to check them. We also need to confirm that the forms or the calendars or whatever it is that is our trigger step in these workflows is actually what you're using in the funnel that you're going to be running traffic to, or the form, let's say, that you've embedded on your website. So these are only as good as the information that you give them. So the first thing that we are going to do is click on this contest form submitted, which is going to go to a complete registration event. However, this may not be properly set up. So we need to, again, double check it and plug in our specific information. And then we're going to be publishing them. So I'm going to click on this form submitted step. And if you're creating this from scratch, you can type in as the trigger step, form submitted. So this is for the contest opt-in. So that looks good. But if you're using a different form for something, you just select it here. If you do not see this form is option, if you're creating this from scratch, you're going to add a filter and then just select that form is option. So we're good on step 1. Now we're selecting step 2. So this is actually, it says lead, should be complete registration. So again, always double check. Plus different businesses, they're going to need to classify things a little bit differently potentially. So we're going to click here and we're going to select complete registration instead. We're going to delete insert customer value right now. Then I'm going to grab my access token that we copied and my pixel ID, paste them in these 2 sections, hit save, and then publish. So I'm going to grab that info now. Once I've gotten that information in there, I'm going to publish and hit save. When you publish workflows, that's a great way to keep up with what you've actually looked at and double checked. So if you see anything that's already published, but you haven't edited it yet, go ahead and set it to draft so that you know the only things that are working in an account are the things that you have published. Now we're going to select this as well. After we create our Facebook lead forms, we will be going back and updating these workflows if we have a lead form for this same event. So example, our offer lead to conversions API, if we have a special offer lead form, we could also add the Facebook lead form submitted step. We could select the Facebook lead form that we are going to be using. So we don't have any just yet. And that would also update the conversions API. However, lead forms by default are already tracked on platforms. So that is not a necessary step, but you can do that. So our form submitted is limited time offer opt-in. That is the form we want. We should verify that in our funnel as well, though. Make sure that's the form we're using. You can never double check too many times on these because these are very important. So I already have that pixel ID copied to my clipboard, paste it in. Now I'm going to grab that access token, hit save, and then hit publish. Publish. So our second workflow is done. And if there are any other workflows that you need, such as your schedule event, that's what it should be here. Same access token, same pixel ID, just make sure it's the schedule event. And if we were using an event like this, we would want to make sure that the initial workflow is set up to appointment status and the appointment status is confirmed. You get these drop downs by selecting those add filters. So I don't want to specify any specific calendar. So I'm just going to hit save and it would apply to all calendars, which they may very well use in the future. I would make sure that I had that information set up in my aggregated events and that conversions API, in which I'd have to go ahead and update. but we can go ahead and get this set up in the meantime. And I'm going to delete this custom value. Again, this is a mistake. This should be the schedule event. So we want to make sure that every event makes sense with what we are doing. So when they register for this contest, it will be complete registration. That's what we chose to label that as. If somebody is a lead for an offer, they're classified as lead. And if somebody is scheduling a call to talk to the business about something, then that would be a schedule. Maybe they even do tours of spaces, things like that. So there's typically always a use case for this, but in this case, this business has people check out directly online. We don't need this application, so we're going to delete that, but a submit application step would be great for any type of secondary information that you have people fill out, such as an application or a questionnaire. So now I have my workflows completed and I am good to go on this. What I do want to do is go back to sites and forms, double check that those forms are the ones that I want, and click on sites and funnels to double check my funnels, make sure those forms that I selected are the forms that are being used in those funnels. Otherwise, this will not trigger. It will not collect that data that we want it to collect, and our pixel will not fully optimize. So again, double, triple, quadruple check before launch, especially when it comes to things like this, to make sure that you're not really crippling your ads before they ever begin.